Well, welcome to 35 to 1 Roulette Cruising. I disembarked Freedom of the Seas Monday, May 26th. Let's get into the Cruisin Debrief. So my wife and I had two comp cabins on Freedom of the Seas. We're on a comp cruise. Woo! We left out on May 23rd out of Miami. We try not to go out of Miami for anything less than 4 nights. But this one here was a 3-night cruise. Our daughters were finishing school, and we figured, well, with Memorial Day weekend, we would just run down there and take a 3-night and just take advantage of the comp that was available to us. So we got onto the ship, and I went around and toured the casino a little bit just to kind of look and see what was going on. I'm sure some of you seen the previous video, but they have the of course the standard casino. There's 3 tables in that casino. So you come out of Playmakers. There's a roulette table in that pit there. You go to the left around the cashier. There's a table sitting right there close to the host desk and stuff. And then you go a little further down and there's a 3rd table on the far end of the casino, but it doesn't have a display board. I think I've cruised Freedom before and they didn't have any displays working. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Freedom. So anyway, so they had 2 displays on 2 of the tables, and then they had no display on a 3rd table. When I first got on the cruise, when I was looking, the one table was alternating between a $2 table and a $25 table. I don't know why it was doing that. But when the cruise started, it was a $2 table, so all tables were $2. And of course on Freedom, they just installed a new non-smoking casino in the promenade. That casino is pretty nice. It's smaller, but there's only a roulette, ultimate Texas Hold'em, and a blackjack table. That's the only table games they have up there. And of course there's some slot machines and things in there, and of course the bar. It really didn't look that different, to be honest. I think I remember there was a bar there to start with. So they just took out all the benches and the chairs and stuff of whatever that was, and then kind of expanded. If you're looking at it, it kind of expanded to the left. That's where all the tables are sitting there. But it's real convenient to get to. Let's see, so let's get into it. So on night 1, we went into this cruise not needing a lot of points. Before I started the cruise, I was sitting at 2,362 points is where I was at before I got onto the cruise, which meant I only needed 138 points to make prime, okay, which was going to be easy to do, okay. So we really weren't shooting for a lot of points because we already have cruises booked. We've got one in June. We've got one right now in September. We've already got one booked for March of next year for spring break. So we're kind of, as far as vacation times and some other things that is coming up this year for us personally, we're not going to have a lot of time to do any more cruising other than what we already have scheduled. So we weren't really chasing any certificates for this cruise. Really just needed to make our minimum. If anybody knows anything about Royal Caribbean and Casino Royale, once you kind of get into the system, every cruise you go on, you need to earn 200 to 400 points. I typically try to just shoot for 350, 400 points every cruise, so that way you continue to get your offers. So that's all we were needing to do. We just need to get our minimum points and just kind of keep taking advantage of those offers that's sent to us. So anyway, so we weren't chasing points, okay. So anyway, so night 1, I decided I'm going to try out the new casino, and like I told you guys before, I was going to sit down at a table. I'm going to run 10 spins of a strategy that's going to hold up. So I did 10 spins of Point Pusher. It took 20 minutes to run 10 spins, and I was only running it at a $36 average. With the $2 chips, you can get $36 pretty easy. So just running it at $36, I earned 43 points in 10 spins in 20 minutes. Okay, so the average seemed to be working out pretty good. The ratings seemed to be working out pretty good. So I'm like, okay, so this table here is rating, fairly well. So I decided, well, let me go downstairs. So that was on the fifth, the deck 5 is where the new casino's at. So I went down to deck 4, and I went to what I would call table number 2, the closest table to the hostess desk, the cashier. I played there. I went just 12 spins. Really just wanted to just kind of test it out and just see how I would do. I did yin yang, I did 8 streets and stuff. Just went 12 spins, and when I walked away from the table, I only had 10 points that I earned. And I'm like, well, that something don't seem right. So I waited a little while, still only 10 points. Waited a little bit longer, still only 10 points. So finally, I went over there and talked with the pit boss, and just kind of said, hey, there's something going on with the points, and they said they would check it and, whatever. And so I kind of left it for the night. And so I went back up to the non-smoking casino because I knew that was kind of rating well. And I did 40 plus spins. So I know I went 40 spins. It might have been 42, 43 spins, give or take. But in that session, I played Point Pusher at $36. I played 10 streets at $20. I played 8 streets at $16. And I earned 143 points during that session. So that's 3.5 points per spin, which is, fairly well for the amount of money I had for my average. I felt like I did fairly well with points for that one. But there's one thing about the new casino on Freedom. It is hot. I don't know if they don't have the air on or if it's because there's so many people. It wasn't like it was packed, but I was sitting there, I'm like breaking a sweat, sitting there playing. And in the air, you could feel the air kick on, and then you get comfortable again, and then it would cut off, and it's just kind of hot and comfortable. So it just kind of made it a little annoying to sit there and play. But anyway, so for the night, I finished with 196 points on night 1. So, right at 200 points. Really felt like it was okay for the night. I really, like I said, not chasing points. I'm just playing just to play, right? So let's see. So we go into night 2. And I went 20 spins for 40 minutes. I tried that new strategy, the Baker's Dozen. Well, it didn't go very well. I had like 3 or 4 losses in a row, so I'm like, okay, well, I got to change to something else. I switched to 8 streets, and it kind of held its own for a little while. And, so after 40 minutes, 20 spins, I walked away from the table, and I only had 208 points, which meant I only earned 12 points the 40 minutes I was there for the 20 spins I was there. So, of course, I went back and talked to the pit boss and told him, hey, there's something going on with this table. I asked him what my rating was. He said he had me at $40 as my rating. And I'm like, well, $40, 20 spins, I only earned 12 points. That something's not right. So he said he would definitely take care of it. And so anyway, so I waited a couple hours and went back and checked, and I had 255 points. So, for that 40 minutes, 20 spins, that comes up to 59 points over those 20 spins. Could have been better, but, hey, I'll take it. All right, but that's on table 2. So if you go on Freedom, I would probably steer clear of the table closest to the cashier, okay? All right, so then let's see. The next session was 10 spins, 20 minutes of Point Pusher at $36. And I had, that was on table 3. So I decided, let me go try the table 3, which was the non-display table. And just run Point Pushers. Because you really don't have to keep up with anything to play Point Pusher. You just put your chips on there and let it ride, right? So anyway, they had me at $40. I got 271 points, or I was at 271 points. So that was just under 20 points for 10 spins. So a little low, but could have been worse. So anyway, so that was the end of night 2. I finished with 271 points on night 2. And then roll into night 3. Night 3, I started the night, I just wanted to go over and play craps for a minute. So I went over there, bought in for 20 bucks. Actually got up to like $60 or $70, I think is where I was at, and then lost. I was only there 2 shooters. So anyway, walked away with $30, so I made 10 bucks. So, and I only earned 8 points. So, you know, which is why I don't typically go over and play craps, because I just don't ever get any points for it. But hey, if the roulette wheel is not giving you any points, you better go find something else that's going to give you points. So anyway, so let's see. So I went and played a session of roulette, 30 spins, 45 minutes. I played point pusher at $36, and I walked away with 352 points. There was a couple of bad losses with the point pusher, and I got down pretty bad in my bankroll, and so right before I was about finished, my last few dollars, I'm like, I'm just going to play yin yang. It had hit left side, like I think it was like 5 times it had hit left side, and I had just enough to cover the yin and yang one time, and so I covered right side, and it hit. So I walked away from the table after a win. So I bought in for $130 on that session, walked away with $80. So, you know, lost $50 over that session. But I earned 73 points during that session. So, you know, it's not too bad. Let's see. So that was pretty well the last session. You know, like I said, I wasn't playing for points. I was just trying out some stuff, practicing a couple of these strategies to see if any of them can hold up or whatever. But anyway, so I finished the cruise with a total of 352 points. So 352 points, and let's see, that was 122 spins is what I had added up here. So 122 spins, 352 points, that is 2.89 points per spin. Okay, so, but that's, like I said, I really wasn't betting high. I was kind of kept my bankroll low. Just wanted to try some things out and really just trying to get my minimum on points. I did lose some money on this one. This is one thing you know, you kind of have to understand whenever you're playing these strategies, they're not guaranteed to work every time. Like my last cruise, I got over 2,000 points on my last cruise. I got 2,300 points on my last cruise, and I think I broke even for the entire cruise. This one here, I was down considerably. But my wife did really good. She didn't do good with the roulette, but she went over and found a slot machine that really worked for her. And so what I lost, she almost got back. Okay, so we'll just go with that. I'm not going to give you how much I lost, but it wasn't that bad. I think we lost a couple $100 in total between the two of us before the cruise was over. So anyway, so that was Freedom of the Seas, Cruisin Debrief. Just letting you know my experience on Freedom. The ship's fine. It's like you're any other ship you go on in the Freedom class. They're all about the same. So it's aged, of course, but it's clean. The people, it was crowded. The casino was like really crowded for this cruise. The last cruise we were on, there wasn't hardly anybody on it for some reason, but this one here, it was busy. Every night it was slammed. 10 o'clock at night, it was just, standing room only in there. So anyway, so that's Freedom of the Seas, Cruisin Debrief. So if you don't mind, hit that like button for me. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to 35-to-1 Roulette Cruisin'. And until next time, happy cruising. We'll see you. Bye.